The WWE and the UFC have agreed to merge for $21 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the World Wrestling Authority, connecting you with some bone-crunching, thuds to the skull wrestling news from around the world. The following is broadcasted for you. In the world of sports entertainment, there are no bigger brands than WWE and UFC. They've been locking horns for years, each trying to prove that they're the top dog in the industry. But in a surprise move, the bosses at both companies got together and decided to put their differences aside and merge. That's right, brother. WWE and UFC are joining forces with combined assets of $21 billion. It's been a few days, and yet it has already shaken up the wrestling world like a devastating clothesline. But that's not all, oh no. They've also brought in the big guns from Endeavor, a major talent agency. With their expertise, they'll be able to scout out the next generation of superstars and make sure that the new company stays on top for years to come. So who are the new players in this epic merger, you ask? Well, first there's Vince McMahon, the kingpin of WWE. He's been running the show for decades, and he's not about to let anyone else take control. Then there's Dana White, the big cheese over at UFC. He's known for his fiery personality and no-nonsense attitude. And finally, there's Ari Emanuel, the head honcho of Endeavor. He's the man with the plan, and he's got the connections to make things happen. Now, some folks might be skeptical about this merger. They might say that WWE and UFC are too distinct to work together. But let me tell you something, brother. When you've got the best wrestlers and fighters in the world all under one roof, there's no stopping the sheer power of this new company. They'll dominate the industry like never before, and they'll do it with style, grace, plenty of SmackDowns, and definitely more bucks in their pockets. WWE is the king of professional wrestling, delivering epic events and shows worldwide. Endeavor, on the other hand, is a pioneer in entertainment and talent management, with a diverse client list and a vast portfolio of assets. Together, these two behemoths will create a powerhouse in sports and entertainment. And get this, they're even planning to market themselves under the brand name TKO. Now you might be asking yourself, what does this mean for the chairman of WWE, the man, the myth, the legend, Vincent Kennedy McMahon? Well, let me tell you, brother, there are both positives and negatives to this big move. Pros: McMahon as a brand ambassador. First off, with all his experience in the industry, McMahon's wisdom will be a valuable asset to the newly merged company as they face new challenges and opportunities. Plus, let's not forget about his brand recognition. Vince McMahon is a household name in the world of WWE, and keeping him on board will help the new company capitalize on the ongoing relationship between WWE and McMahon. Cons: conflict of interest, abuse of power. But here are some drawbacks to consider. For one, McMahon might face conflicts of interest due to his long-standing involvement with WWE, especially with the new company's collaboration with UFC. And as the driving force behind WWE, he might be resistant to making significant changes to the company, which could limit the new startup's ability to experiment and grow. Plus, some might argue that McMahon has a history of abusing his power, like when he replaced 3 board members after being barred from returning due to the charges against him. Aside from McMahon, fans are also wondering what the future holds for the wrestlers themselves. Let me tell you this, while details of the merger are still scarce, insiders suggest that the move will have a significant impact on the wrestlers of both companies. Here are some of the ways that the merger is likely to affect the men and women who step into the ring. Increased competition. With UFC and WWE now under the same roof, there will undoubtedly be a newfound level of competition between the wrestlers of both organizations. Fighters who once only had to worry about their peers in the UFC will now be forced to step up their game to compete with the best of WWE and vice versa. This could lead to some exciting matchups and may even push some wrestlers to new heights. New opportunities. The merger could open up new opportunities for wrestlers who previously struggled to find a place in either UFC or WWE. For example, some wrestlers who may not have the MMA skills to succeed in the UFC could find a home in WWE, where entertainment value is often valued over pure athleticism. Similarly, wrestlers who have struggled to gain traction in WWE could find success in the UFC's more traditional, sports-focused environment. Changes in style. With UFC and WWE now working together, there'll likely be some changes in the way that matches are structured and fought. For example, UFC fighters may need to adjust to the more theatrical elements of WWE, such as scripted promos and elaborate entrances, while WWE wrestlers may need to learn to adapt to the more technical and realistic fighting style of the UFC. Uncertain futures. While the merger has the potential to be a positive development for many wrestlers, it could also mean uncertainty and upheaval for others. For example, wrestlers who were already struggling to find a place in either UFC or WWE may now even be more at risk of being cut. Similarly, wrestlers who have established themselves in one organization may find themselves at a disadvantage if the merger results in a shift in focus or a change in management. So while there are certainly risks and concerns with this merger, the future of WWE is looking as bright as a championship belt under the bright lights. With Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel stepping in as CEO of the new company, the potential for creative and entertainment programming is off the charts. So get ready, wrestling fans, the merger of WWE, UFC, and Endeavor is about to take the world by storm. Who'll be the first champion of this new era? Only time will tell, brother.